NBCNightly.com, working for you.
Case closed. Hours before leaving office, President Clinton makes a deal to avoid prosecution as George W. Bush gets ready to become the 43rd President of the United States.
This is a special edition of NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening. President Clinton, who became a one-man legal, moral, and ethical melodrama during his final term, will not be indicted once he leaves office, but he will pay a price. In an agreement worked out by his lawyer with the special prosecutor, the president will lose his law license for 5 years, pay a fine, and he had to issue a statement acknowledging that he knowingly gave false answers. All of this on the eve of the inauguration of George W. Bush, who was eager to have this matter finished before he took office. We'll begin tonight with NBC's Claire Shipman, who's at the White House. Claire.
Tom, sources say that Clinton is not happy about the timing of this deal, effectively clouding his last day in office, but he is very happy about the substance, putting it all in one final package that he can leave behind tomorrow. Even as the moving vans are taking away their final loads, a startling development with a familiar feel at the White House, a lawyer for the president speaking on the driveway.
The president has accepted a suspension of his license, and the independent counsel has declined to pursue his investigation any further. This is an appropriate closure for the country and the president.
And across town, the independent counsel.
President Clinton has acknowledged responsibility for his actions.
In a statement with hard-fought negotiations over almost every word, the president says he tried to walk a line between acting lawfully and testifying falsely, and that certain of my responses to questions about Ms. Lewinsky were false. David Kendall, the president's lawyer, and independent counsel Robert Ray have been working on the deal behind the scenes for weeks. Here are the main points. Ray ends the investigation and the threat of indictment. At the same time, the Arkansas Supreme Court agrees not to disbar Clinton. In exchange, Clinton admits he gave false and misleading testimony about his affair with Monica Lewinsky, accepts a 5-year suspension of his license to practice law in Arkansas, pays a $25,000 fine to the state, and agrees not to seek government reimbursement of his legal fees. His spokesman says Clinton is ready to move on.
The president is upbeat about his future, looking forward to putting this behind him.
Now, sources say that the most important point for the president in this deal, avoiding the humiliation of disbarment. His team didn't really think that Ray would move to indict the president. They would have been happy to put this off until next week, but Ray, according to sources, wanted to get this wrapped up now so that George W. Bush can avoid the same situation in his first few weeks in office that Gerald Ford faced more than 25 years ago, answering questions about presidential pardons. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's Claire Shipman at the White House tonight. As Claire reported, this deal has been in the work in progress since December, and there's never been anything quite like it, involving, as it does, a sitting president who was impeached but not convicted. They were still trying to put all the pieces in place early this morning. We have more on the deal tonight from NBC's Pete Williams.
It all comes down to this. An Arkansas judge today signs the order accepting the deal, and lawyers formally file the admission of wrongdoing, ending the 7-year investigation of President Clinton from Whitewater to Lewinsky, cost $52 million and rising. Arkansas legal experts say the hold on Clinton's license is a harsh penalty for any lawyer.
The suspension of 5 years is as long as you can get without being disbarred. And so clearly it's up at the very top of the suspension thing.
And after impeachment, another parallel legal experts say to Richard Nixon, disbarred in New York after leaving office. Lawyers on both sides declare today's agreement sound. For Clinton, no more trials or legal bills. And for the independent counsel, a certain outcome. Many legal scholars say Ray would have faced very long odds getting a guilty verdict against such a popular figure.
It's certainly not clear that he could win a conviction if he brought an indictment. That would be several years and tens of millions of dollars with a very uncertain outcome. This way he makes a clean break.
Especially with Ray's future boss, George W. Bush, recently sending strong signals that Ray should drop the case.
I think we've had enough focus on the past. It's time to move forward.
Even those who called for Wray to indict praised the independent counsel for getting the deal with Clinton still in the White House.
I think it was a substantial achievement on Robert Ray's part to get a sitting president to make these admissions as part of a plea bargain.
And by getting Clinton to agree not to seek reimbursement of his legal fees, Wray saves the government hundreds of thousands of dollars. All that's left now is for Wray to write his final report, required by law, bringing to an end the longest presidential investigation in history. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
And Linda Tripp, whose taped telephone calls with Monica Lewinsky helped lead to the president's impeachment, is out of her $99,000 a year job at the Pentagon. She was let go, along with hundreds of other political appointees whose jobs were not renewed by the incoming Bush administration. Tripp's lawyer called her dismissal a mean-spirited firing. He said that she will sue to get her job back. Meanwhile, the countdown to George W. Bush's inauguration continues here in Washington, with parties, seminars, confirmation hearings, and a great deal of speculation about how the new president will do. NBC's David Gregory is covering the president-elect again tonight. David?
And Tom, tonight, a sigh of relief from top Bush advisors in response to this Clinton deal, as the incoming president now gets to avoid the debate over a pardon that promised to become a major distraction for the new administration.
Bush today, making the pre-inaugural rounds in Washington, avoids comment on Clinton's deal, but a spokesman makes clear the president-elect played no role in the outcome, though he was pleased to learn last night that the matter was settled.
Inaugurations mark the beginning of a new chapter in our nation's history, and the president's focus and efforts will be forward-looking, not backward-looking.
As Bush makes his first public appearance of the weekend with his parents, there's growing concern in rain-soaked Washington about the weather. With snow and sleet forecast, organizers say conference calls are scheduled throughout the night to determine whether the swearing in should be moved inside. Still, the final pieces are put in place. Chief Justice William Rehnquist presides over a mock swearing in at the Capitol. And brought in from New York today, the same 18th century King James Bible Bush's father used when he took the oath of office. The president-elect already looking beyond his address to the nation, telling the Today Show's Jamie Gangel he's focused on his first meeting with congressional leaders.
One of the things I'll say is, let's beat expectations. And the expectations are that as a result of a close election, nothing will get done.
One of his first meetings next week with John McCain, the Arizona senator promising prompt introduction of campaign finance legislation. And tonight, his top aides say that he is optimistic he can work out a compromise with the new president, though there are major areas of disagreement. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's David Gregory tonight. Another reminder of the difficult issues the new president will face: abortion rights. In the news all week with the Ashcroft confirmation hearings and yesterday's remarks by the president-elect's wife, Laura. NBC's Jamie Gangel asked George W. Bush about that today.
Mrs. Bush said that she does not think that Roe versus Wade should be overturned. Do you agree?
My wife is entitled to her opinion.
Do you think?
Just like a lot of other Americans are entitled to their opinion. Roe v. Wade is not going to be overturned by a constitutional amendment because there's not the votes in the House or the Senate. Secondly, I am going to put judges on the court who strictly interpret the Constitution, and that will be the litmus test.
But do you think Roe versus Wade should be overturned?
I've always said that Roe versus Wade was a judicial reach.
So you don't agree with her?
Well, whether I do or don't agree with her is irrelevant. What's relevant is that how I'm going to conduct my presidency.
You can see all of Jamie Gangel's interview with President-elect Bush tomorrow morning on a special edition of Today that will begin at 8 Eastern. Now back to the main events of this evening, parties. And the Grand Old Party has shown its usual skill at raising huge sums of money for the celebrations this week, a total of $40 million, mostly from big corporations. NBC's Lisa Myers has more on the inaugural money trail.
It's a 4-day patriotic extravaganza, where there's no such thing as being too rich or flaunting it too much. Washington is overflowing with more than 350 private jets, limos as far as the eye can see, and nonstop parties. Most of it paid for by the most powerful corporations in America, which kicked in $25 million, almost two-thirds of the private money for the inauguration. The big givers include Microsoft, Philip Morris, and General Electric, the parent company of NBC, all with urgent issues before the new administration.
This money is not being given out of a sense of public charity and civic duty. It's being given to be seen, to be heard, to have face time with the president and the incoming administration.
The industries giving the most: securities and investment companies, manufacturers, real estate. In an effort to show restraint, the Bush team limited contributions to $100,000. But it was easy to get around the limit. Marriott did it by giving money through its subsidiaries, a total of $750,000, all entirely legal.
Obviously, they think that money speaks, and more money speaks louder.
One company that gave $100,000, Conoco, says it doesn't need to buy access.
We've always had access to make our case as we've tried to work with the administration, whether it be Republican or Democratic.
What's more, Conoco points out that corporate money enables other Americans to attend events like yesterday's opening ceremony for free. Still, the best seats at all events go to the big givers, who also wined and dined last night at candlelight dinners with Bush. An inaugural spokesman denies $100,000 buys influence on policy.
The only policy we make at the inaugural committee is that there shall be no striped napkins on plaid tablecloths.
In Washington, the faces and styles may change, but the power of money stays the same. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
Up next, NBC News in Depth tonight. What's next for citizen Bill Clinton? But first, the human touch. Coming from the new president's hometown, where his ranch is, it does have its privileges. The high school marching band of tiny Crawford, Texas, will get the chance of a lifetime tomorrow, the inaugural parade.
Absolutely nothing like this has ever happened in Crawford before. It's mind-boggling just to think about.
It's going to be cool to be able to see the parade and actually be on Pennsylvania Avenue when all this stuff is taking place.
We've hit the jackpot. No two ways about it. It's just like hitting the lottery.
High finance, underground. Janice is down here, checking up on a potential investment. A communications company that says they've laid more cable than their competitors. They look great on paper, but Janice gets beneath the surface, goes down and counts cable. They do have the most. They're ready to grow. Fast. Just what Janice was digging for. So what's up with your money? Get there. Janice Mutual Funds.
Now there's something new for both of you. 100% of your daily calcium requirement, plus all the heartburn relief of Mylanta. Introducing new Mylanta Calcitabs. It's just what you're both looking for.
Don't get that, Frank.
Hello? Baxter!
Meow, 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 meow.
4 delicious flavors make Meow Mix taste so good, cats ask for it by name.
Meow, meow, meow.
It's Baxter!
I kept telling myself my overactive bladder was no big deal, but I was going so often. And suddenly, right in the middle of the show. Come on, Kevin. Grandpa needs a bathroom. I really had to hurry. That did it. I asked my doctor about Detrol.
Prescription Detrol effectively treats overactive bladder, a medical condition. Detrol helps control bladder contractions that cause those sudden urges. If you have certain types of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems, do not take Detrol. The most common side effect is dry mouth. Some others may include dry eyes, headache, constipation, and indigestion. Overactive bladder is not normal at any age, so don't wait. Ask your doctor today about Detrol, the brand doctors prescribe most for overactive bladder.
Detrol made a difference for me.
On an all-new Dateline Friday, a very special preview to the Golden Globes. Intimate interviews with the hottest actors of the year. The cast of Will and Grace, Ray Romano, Kate Hudson, Michael Douglas, and Sandra Bullock. Don't miss this special Golden Globes preview. A Dateline People magazine exclusive tonight.
NBC News in Depth tonight. Citizen Bill. Now that President Clinton is in the clear with the independent counsel, defending himself against criminal charges is one thing he won't have to do. Which leaves the question, what is he going to do? NBC's Andrea Mitchell has some answers tonight in depth.
He leaves with a photo album of memories, the youngest ex-president since Teddy Roosevelt. No job, 2 expensive new houses, and a mountain of debt.
Look, I've got a senator's support. That's what I've got.
It is the Bill Clinton farewell tour, like a 60s rock band not quite ready to give up. Today, in a converted car dealership in Little Rock, unpacking begins. 3 million pounds of Clinton memorabilia, much of it classified, all flown in on 9 military jets. So much to sort, so much time. What will he do?
The big trick is going to be keeping him out of Hillary's office. This is not going to be easy.
Friends say job 1, advisor to Hillary.
I think he's very proud of her, and I think he will play this spouse role rather capably.
I may run for president of the Senate Spouses Club.
Or others say he may run himself.
And I would not be surprised if he decides to run for office again at some point just to stay involved.
Job 2, paying off $4 million in legal debts while carrying more than $3 million in mortgages. The solution, paid speeches at $100,000 a speech and a $5 to $7 million book deal.
If he wanted to, during the first year of his post-presidency, he could be working 365 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Job 3, building a legacy now that indictment is no longer a threat. The centerpiece, friends say, a personal campaign to improve race relations, translating a lifelong concern into concrete action. Working out of New York and a $200 million presidential library in Little Rock.
That's the site, 26 acres down there.
And if the Secret Service lets him, he can even drive to work in the 1967 Mustang convertible he put into storage 8 years ago.
We expect to hear from him probably in sometime when things settle down.
When you leave government, you get in the back seat of a car and you wonder why it does not start.
Only one of the challenges for Bill Clinton when he becomes a citizen after 8 years as president. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
I'll be right back. Who is responsible for what happened to the USS Cole?
Look at all these wedding gifts. Whoa. What's for lunch?
Chicken and stars.
Condensed soup? I used to eat that too. And then I learned how to tie my shoelaces. You're an adult now. There's a better tasting soup. Progresso Chicken Noodle has tender pieces of all white meat chicken and bigger slices of hearty vegetables with just the right seasonings. See the difference?
This is better.
See? Now, how about this glass?
It's time to go to the better taste of Progresso.
A delicious dressing with just 2 grams of fat? Stop wishing and start eating. Just too good from Wishbone.
Presenting the unshakable confidence of Seabond Denture Adhesive. Seabond has 100% more holding power than before. Seabond, more hold.
Looking for a great value on a great car? It's time to check out Oldsmobile, because right now you can drive with the confidence of a 5-year, 60,000-mile General Motors protection plan. An offer that's good on every new 2001 Oldsmobile. Plus, qualified buyers can finance a new 2001 Oldsmobile with 0 down plus 0 interest and payments until 2002, which makes Oldsmobile the smart buyer's choice. It's one of our best offers yet.
I'm ready.
See your local dealer today.
See how beautiful 60 can look. See how invisible osteoporosis can be. If you're over 60, there's a nearly 1 in 2 chance you have it. So ask your doctor about a bone density test and treatments that can help.
In hospital pharmacies, they dispense medicines that work fast. For heartburn, that's 1 minute Malox.
It goes to work on stomach acid in 1 minute. Pepsid AC could take over 45 minutes.
Hospital pharmacies rely on Malox. Shouldn't you?
Count on 1 minute Malox.
Most people don't know that in the last 10 years that Gateway's helped 1 million small businesses. True economic growth comes from those small businesses. They're the ones making it happen. Gateway has always been about the direct relationship with our customers. We're local. We have people right there who can help you with your business solutions. Over the next few months, we're going to show you what happens when small businesses get the power they deserve.
Sunday, a new era begins. The inauguration of George W. Bush, plus John McCain and the man who cut the deal with Bill Clinton. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
George W. Bush on the job. NBC Nightly News next week.
In California tonight, there are more desperate measures to avoid those rolling power blackouts this weekend. Governor Gray Davis signed a bill authorizing the state to buy $400 million worth of electricity. And the Clinton administration ordered out-of-state suppliers to sell natural gas to California utilities that are now on the verge of bankruptcy. And as the inauguration gets underway here in Washington, there's a tense standoff tonight in the Philippines where the President Joseph Estrada is accused of widespread corruption. In the capital city of Manila, hundreds of thousands filled the streets demanding that he resign immediately. Estrada wants to make a deal for immunity before leaving office, but the military and diplomatic corps say his government has collapsed and that they now recognize the vice president, Gloria Arroyo, as the leader of that country. Back here in Washington, the last day in office for U.S. Secretary of Defense William Cohen, among his duties, issuing the final report on the bombing of the USS Cole that killed 17 sailors in Yemen. The verdict? Everyone was to blame for security lapses, but no one, including the ship's captain, will be punished. I asked the Secretary about the Cole as he prepared to become a private citizen again.
The ones responsible for the attack on the Cole are the terrorists. The question about accountability, how did it occur? What were the facts? We shouldn't try to hang this responsibility solely on the captain of the ship who fought with his crew valiantly to save it. I think everyone in the chain of command has to remain accountable, all the way up to myself as Secretary of Defense.
I, William S. Cohen, do solemnly swear.
Mr. Secretary, you spent most of your adult life in public service. Mayor, representative, senator, defense secretary. If you were starting over again right now, would you be as drawn to public service?
Yes. Public service is the highest calling that one can have if you have some ability to make a contribution to help your fellow man and fellow woman, then you want to do that.
Cohen says there have been two major changes in the public arena. Non-stop and aggressive television coverage, he says, is not always responsible. And senators, like him, who get fed up and leave voluntarily.
There was a sense of partisanship and acrimony and a sense of frustration, of too many timeouts, too many quorum calls, too much time in trying to negotiate agreements just to shut off debates, that the rewards were not as great as they once were.
Tomorrow, Cohen's current career comes to a close. With his wife Janet by his side, he will move from public to private service. He says he'll only take one day off, Sunday, to rest and reflect.
You came to this job interested in national security matters and international policy, but you've never served in a uniform.
Right.
Men and women of the United States Armed Forces, for the past 4 years, we've been blessed to serve with you as you stand guard in the night.
What have you learned as Defense Secretary about yourself?
I have learned that I should be forever grateful to those who have chosen voluntarily to wear the uniform, to go out day in and day out to put their lives on the line. Lives are being risked every day on our behalf, and I think not enough of the American people fully appreciate that.
It was also the final day in office for Richard Holbrooke, the American ambassador to the United Nations, and in his farewell speech to the UN Security Council, he warned about the international plague of AIDS, saying that AIDS threatens to kill more people and undermine more societies than any of the wars the UN deals with. He also warned that not enough is being done to protect UN peacekeeping troops from the plague of AIDS. It was a shaky day on Wall Street today. The Dow, as a result, lost almost 91 points. NASDAQ managed a bit of a gain today. It was just under 2 points. For the week, the Dow was up more than 62 points. NASDAQ was up almost 144 points, 5.5% of its total value. I'll be right back.
Do you know what your day is going to be like? I don't. I
know I'll grab my lunch, or it'll grab me. And what happens if I get constipated? I can't say, "Excuse me, please, would you mind slowing down?" My chemical laxative just kicked in. So I rely on Metamucil. It's 100% natural fiber and treats my body gently. Unlike my job.
Metamucil. For irregularity, it's the doctor's natural choice.
When you or someone you love is hospitalized, safety matters most. That's why doctors and hospitals choose Tylenol more than any other pain reliever. Tylenol. Take comfort in our strength.
It's been a long time coming. But I'm leaving you in good hands. Sarah?
Thanks, Dad. Taking care of business.
In business, you can count on things to change. That's why millions of companies count on Office Depot to help them take care of business.
Taking care of business.
I can't let a bladder control problem get in the way of my job. I tried Serenity.
Serenity has a larger dry layer front to back. Liquid is quickly pulled in, helping prevent leaks.
I feel protected.
Protection, confidence, serenity.
Who says you can't share secrets with your grandson for years and years?
Who says you can't watch the waves break for many summers to come?
Pravachol says you can fight back against heart attack. If you have high cholesterol or heart disease, and diet and exercise still aren't enough, adding Pravachol can make a difference. Other drugs lower cholesterol, but Pravachol is the only drug of its kind that's also proven to help prevent both first and second heart attacks, so you can live a longer, healthier life. Talk to your doctor about Pravachol today. Pravachol, a prescription drug, isn't for everyone, including people with liver problems or women who are pregnant, nursing, or may become pregnant. And because serious side effects can result, tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Pravachol. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about any medicines you are taking.
Who says you can't spend a lifetime with your first love?
Pravachol. It's your life. Fight for it.
Wake up, Bill. The CNBC.com Career Center helps you focus your executive job search. Looks like you could use it.
The Career Center at CNBC.com. Profit from it.
The superpowers push to the brink of nuclear war. MSNBC reports 13 days on the edge of the abyss. Sunday on MSNBC.
So, this is how the Bill Clinton era ends, with a thoughtful, nationally televised farewell address to the nation, followed immediately by what amounts to a plea bargain, an admission that he didn't tell the truth in the Paula Jones case, an agreement to pay a fine and lose his law license for 5 years. The two Bill Clintons right up to the final hours of his administration. Tomorrow, the era of George W. Bush begins with what is expected to be a short inaugural speech appealing for more common goals, fewer partisan fights just for the sake of fighting. After all the country has been through, the expectations are not high, and that could prove to be a powerful asset for this new president. That's Nightly News for this Friday night. Dateline tonight at 9, and tonight on MSNBC, a special look at the Bush family. Business like father, like son. MSNBC on cable at 10 tonight. Our special coverage of the Inauguration Day begins tomorrow morning on Today at 8 Eastern, and then full coverage of all the ceremonies beginning at 11. I'm Tom Brokaw, and I'll see you then.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
NBC Tonight.
It's like someone stealing a piece of your soul.
Law & Order SVU is all new and ripped from the headlines.
Only one reason to slip someone a date rape